and this is all human sacrifice. Again, this is something premeditated, because they were giving me all sorts of symbology even in court, and they were assigning a lawyer to my spouse Misha, and a separate one, and then they assigned me one, and they assigned Mr. Lynch to Misha. That means they were trying to get him out of the picture, and then steal Spark from me. In that case, isolate each other from one another. And Mr. Lynch means somebody you hang in without a legal defense or something like that. That was a Masonic name already. So I cried some very deep tears whenever it was that night, the next night when Swadik was no longer in my arms, and I would cry some very deep tears there, and all of a sudden, police show up within like 1 hour. Those are probably the most sincere tears I've cried, because they always are messing with my heart space. Again, my heart gets tinkered with, like, all the time, like a computer. Yes, and I think my son's is going to be too. That's what they want to turn him into, a computer board, like a mess with his heart, and turn it on and off when like they do mine. Yeah, it's like that. By the way, my voice is usually more feminine, but I've been screaming a lot in jail. Whew. And it's like that. So again, this is all done to us, and I have like no one to be here. I try to reach out, but even somebody to at least because now they're demanding that I have to have stay here in Washington, because we are in transition, and they're like, well, you need to stay here. So now they're trying to keep us as hostages here, of course, and separate me and Misha via Mr. Lynch, because that is a Masonic surname. They assigned Mr. Lynch, the attorney, to my Misha, and Holly as to me. And I got rid of her, and I said no, and the judge like, but you have to. I'm like, no. And again, I'm being just screwed as a mother, because there's nobody here for me, and they're like stealing my baby right out of my arms as a human sacrifice, because we intended him as our most loving and precious one, me and Misha, and we wanted a nice and beautiful reality. And I realized that night when I was crying many tears, I realized, what is the point, to this earthly experience called living on Mother Earth, because don't we all come in like a nice pure soul here that I was? Look at that nice pure soul. We could come in here all nice, sweet, and innocent, and then everyone always leaves more dirtier than what they come in, and that is the truth, because most souls, they get more smeared. One way or another, they have more weight on them, so they leave always heavier or dirtier souls than they come in. And that is the truth. And I really wondered that night, what is the point of this earth experience, creator? Because really, what is the point of the darkening of the soul's experience on Mother Earth, and I cried really sincere tears over all this. And then there was like, I think 5 or 6 police cars that showed up that night. I took video logs of them, and they were shining their flashlights all in my car. I thought I was going to be arrested again. I met pretty much all the police in this little village, like, by this time, and then the next time too. And that was in the park, and that was on my son's birthday, and that's what happens when uh, I get chased around. So again, we didn't want anything to do with this materialistic world, and I pretty much was down to several bags on me, and uh, when I was actually sacrificing all my belongings that I don't no longer needed, like into like this fire pit, because I brought so much stuff here throughout my journey, and I realized I cannot take all of that to my heaven on earth reality to Russia to me with me, and I burned a lot of stuff, and the most precious of my precious I burned too, and that was just my materialistic precious, but my son was never to be given away to anyone, uh, and or stolen like that. And I burned his Moses basket that I put him in when he was born, and it it was handmade from Azerbaijan. That's where I got it from online, Azerbaijan, and I burned it on a fire pit when I was getting rid of more stuff to here in near Oroville, Washington, at a campground where I was staying at before I was taken with my son. I was getting rid of things. And an ego started to appear to me that whenever I started to burn my son's old clothes, because I'm like, they're sweet. I would like to save his little clothes for later. And I feel that I still need to burn because I realized that I can't take everything with me, and I might need to even walk there because I'm always pursued one way or another, and that's what happened to me right then and there. So eventually I get to the part where I was chased out by the police, out of there by a camper that pretended to be doing something so legitimately important, but really just baiting me with all these Masonic symbologies and videotaping me and then calling the police on me. And that's what they usually do. They bait me with one way. They park near me in the most open of desert, and then they say, I have rights, this and that. But really, they're just aggravating me. And I know that I'm being stalked and harassed, and they know who they are. So it's like that, and it's been like that all my life. So I don't make this stuff up, because guess what? They even broke into my car at 1 o'clock in the morning whenever I was staying out uh, in another part of Washington. They threw rocks in my car and they broke in, and I was with my son, nursing him at 1 in the morning in the car at a campground. And that was an entirely different phenomena, scenario, call it what you like, but they staged these kind of harassments in my life. And I don't make this stuff up because I know I'm assaulted. Sometimes it's harassment, sometimes it's assault. But it's usually pestering. That's what it is. So when I start to burn everything, and I put my son's Moses basket into the fire pit, and I make an altar to burn away all the materials that I don't need, that I brought with me all this journey, because I can't take it with me to my little heaven on earth no more, to all the way to Russia, and I can take only so much. And I prepare to take some food because I realize that I'm being persecuted here in the U.S., and I might need to even make a run for Canada, which that's exactly what happened. But I didn't realize how, because when I did have to make a run for it, I didn't actually even get to take anything with me. I realized when that unhappy camper that was baiting me, that parked right next to me, started recording me, and I recorded it. And eventually they called the police, and all the police in the Horville village showed up to a mother, and they chased me up. And I'm always chased by the police, and this time I made it through Canada, and Masonic stocking ring. Oh, they actually gave me Masonic hand signal in the car while they held my son. The other one held my son. And oh yeah, that happens to me. It happened to me. Yes, yes, these kind of scenarios do happen to me. And whenever I did go to Canada, I literally thought it's just only me and my son, and only the clothes on our back when we were chased. Because when I was burning his Moses basket, I thought earlier when I thought that I would get to take at least something like a tent and a sleeping bag, because we are always campers, and a bag full of clothes and food and all of that. And I didn't get to take that because I had to leave it all behind. I got rid of my most precious of precious, and an eagle appeared to me right there, the third time in my life. And me and my son are watching, and I'm burning his last baby stuff. I still have his stuff that he needs. It's just the old stuff of his last cycle of life that I was burning away. And that was a sign from the Creator, my Father, and he revealed that it was okay. What happens happens, and that's what happened. I got arrested the next day because I planned to go the next day somehow, because we were like stalked and refugees, and that's literally what happened. We got baited into it. You can say that. And even that night, I had a dream that my son is going to be stolen. Yeah, by the Russian army or something like that, or somebody pretending to be that, or some sort of army, and of course, who knows? It was actually probably all Masonically related. Who knows? Via all the intel of the world involved. Who knows? Who knows? But I had a dream that my son was stolen, and later I heard the Creator's voice in my dream yelling at Edda, Edda, Edda. They have fallen from grace, and they know they have, yelling so loudly like that. And I woke up, and that voice was masculine. It was saying, they have fallen from grace, and they know they have. And that's the last morning I had with my son. And I woke up, a car was driving away right then and there from the middle of nowhere, just watching our tent. But those things happen. So that was the last morning with my son. And I woke up, and it was like somebody put that in my dream, like, oh, my son is going to be stolen or something that day. And it did happen. So I don't make this stuff up. Yeah. But anyways, I'll say more on this later. But like again, just think of this world, how souls come in also very, very light and nice and light. And how do they leave? How do the souls leave from this world? They usually leave a lot darker, or something darker than how they came in, don't you think? Yes. What do you think about Project Mother Earth, or Experiment Mother Earth? Creator, do you think it's worth keeping it going to where it's always light coming in and dark coming out? What do you think, all of you? All right, I will be doing more videos and keeping in touch. Thank you for the audience.